Today in the first reading, we see the Israelites complaining in the desert. This is one of our favorite hobbies, to complain. We're all experts at complaining. We got masters and doctorates at complaining. But there's, I think, a very profound lesson today about complaining. Moses tells the Israelites, when you complain against me and Aaron, really you're complaining against God. He tells them, you're not complaining against us. What you're doing is you're complaining against God. And I think this is absolutely true for us too, in our own ways. Many times when we complain against other people, really we're complaining against God. St. Francis de Sales said this in a very clear way. He said, every time that you complain, you're saying no to God. That's what St. Francis de Sales said. So think about it. Think about it. Imagine that you complain against your parents, right? Oh, my parents are this way or the other way. They call me too much or they never call me. But you forget that your parents are the parents that God gave you. You didn't choose your parents. So when you complain against your parents, who are you complaining against? You're complaining against God. Imagine that you have a housemate that you don't like. Oh, my housemate, she's too untidy or he's too untidy. But who gave you your housemate? Well, God gave you your housemate. So who are you complaining against when you complain against your housemate? You complain against God. What happens when you complain against your spouse? Oh, my spouse is this way or the other. Who gave you your spouse? God gave you your spouse. So who are you complaining against? Truly, in many ways, when we complain of something, in the final analysis, we are complaining about God. So, I think there's a way around this, and I think it's also a very profound way around this. If we were able to see that God is behind every situation, instead of complaining, we would say, what do you want for my life? So for example, if you have difficult parents, our attitude shouldn't be, oh, I'm complaining against them. Our attitude should be, Lord, what are you trying to do in my life? What do you want me to learn? How is it that I'm called to be different through this situation? If you have difficult housemates, the right attitude is not complaining about your housemates, but seeing that God in His providence allows that situation. And you're called to say, Lord, what are you trying to do here in my life? How is it that I'm called to grow in this situation? So let me finish with this question. What are you complaining about in your life? What is it that you're whining about? What trial, what difficulty, what complex situation are you whining about? So the first question is, do you see that you are really complaining against God? Do you see that you're not complaining against one person or the other? Really what you're complaining is against God's providence? But now let's flip it with this positive question. What is it that God wants you to learn from that situation? How is it that you're called to grow in holiness from that situation that currently you're complaining of? So today, brothers and sisters, remember what Moses said to the Israelites. When you complain against me and Aaron, you're complaining against God. I propose that we should complain less and see more God's providence for our life and the way that He calls us to grow in holiness.